The three main objectives for this presentation are to explain what phenomenology is, to better understand the phenomenological approach, to recognize the main features and key components of the phenomenological approach, to identify the advantages and disadvantages of the phenomenological approach. What is phenomenology? Phenomenology is a type of qualitative research, and it has a particular focus, which is what people experience in regard to some phenomenon and how they interpret those experiences. In other words, phenomenology is a descriptive account of a person's lived experience, and we're talking about a type of study that can be applied to several individuals or multiple people. The term phenomenology comes from the Greek phenomenon, meaning appearance. For this reason, phenomenology is the study of appearances as opposed to reality. By experience, we mean everything that we live through or perform. Therefore, a phenomenological approach is a very convenient way to study effective, emotional, and intense human experiences such as love, anger, hate, intuition. Phenomenology is also a philosophy. It is based on the premise that reality consists of objects and events, which we refer to as a phenomena, as they are perceived or understood in the human consciousness. The phenomenological approach as a philosophy was a very significant moment in the 20th century thinking, and it's been highly influenced by the contributions of the German philosopher Edmund Husserl.
Okay, right now we are going to talk about some of the characteristics of the phenomenological research. We are going to start saying that it is characterized by being purely descriptive, and its method consists in the description of the essences. Phenomenological research emphasizes the individual and subjective aspects of experience. It describes the structure of experience as represented in consciousness without recourse to theory, deductions, or assumptions from other disciplines. It explores different points of view of the phenomenon which is being investigated, and some authors like Vincent Shapiro point out that the term phenomenological research is used in an equivalent way to naturalistic research because it attempts to capture the way people in natural contexts experience their lives and the meanings they attribute to them. Phenomenological research is the study of the experiences, dispute the experimental method as the only valid way to investigate the human being, to seek the knowledge of him. The object of knowledge for phenomenology is neither the subject nor the world, but the world lived by the subject.
The types of phenomenology. As you can see, there are three main types of phenomenology, but we also have an extra one. Let's begin with realistic. The realistic phenomenology emphasizes the search for the universal essences of various sorts of matter, includes human actions, motives, and selves. The transcendental phenomenology involves suspending acceptance of the pregiven status of conscious life as something that exists in the world and is performed in order to secure an ultimate intersubjective grounding for the world and the positive sciences of it. The existential phenomenology is concerned with topics such as action, conflict, desire, finitude, oppression, and death. And last but not least is the genetic phenomenology, described in contrast to static phenomenology, which is the style of analysis that is found in the logical investigations and ideas. The methodology of the phenomenology often involves the four steps. Number one, bracketing. This is the central component of phenomenological reduction, the isolation of the pure phenomenon versus what is already known of the phenomenon. Number two, intuition. Intuition requires that the researcher becomes totally immersed in the study and the phenomenon. Number three, analysis. It involves total immersion for as long as it is needed to ensure pure description of the phenomenon. Number four, description. The the researcher understands and defines the phenomenon.
There are some strategies to phenomenological research. In our investigation, we found four of them. The first one is called epoche. The researcher considers a different point of view, leaving aside his own experiences. The second one is called phenomenological reduction. The researcher leaves the phenomenon and tries to understand its reality. The third one is called horizontalization. It's the process where the collected information is analyzed. And the last one is called imaginative variation. After the examination of the collected data, the researcher comprehends different perspectives or points of view.
Examples of phenomenologic research. First, a phenomenological study of life experience of elementary principles involved in dual career relationship with his children. Second, the caregiver's journey, a phenomenological study life experience of a leisure for caregivers in the sandwich generation who care for a parent with dementia. Third, a phenomenological study of the experience of helping professionals with learning disabilities.
When it comes to phenomenological tools, the most common are interviews, diaries, drawings, and observation. However, the phenomenological interview is the most often used. As we mentioned before, phenomenology is interested in the experiences of people in an effort to understand the essence of a phenomenon. And a good way to achieve this is to interview the same subjects or people several times to get a full picture of the experiences with the phenomenon. For instance, the more people say my experience is this or that, the better I understand what that experience must be like. Through the phenomenological interview, we can explore and apprehend the phenomenon itself, which is what the qualitative approach aims to achieve. It's basically a meeting with a phenomenon that is being lived by a person who determines the characteristics of the phenomenon.
Advantage and disadvantage. In advantage, can look at change process over time, reach data from the experience of individuals, help to understand people's meaning, help to adjust the new issues and ideas as they emerge, contribute to development of new theories, gather data which is seen as natural rather than artificial. Disadvantage. Data gathering can take up a great deal of time and resources. The analysis and interpretation of data be difficult, uh, may be harder than positivist approach to control piece, process, and endpoints. Policy market may give low credibility to a phenomenological study.
Conclusions. Phenomenology can encompass narrative research. According to Van Manen, the four aspects of lived experience that are of interest to phenomenologists are lived space, lived body, lived time, lived human relations. The topics appropriate to phenomenology are ones fundamental to the life experiences of humans like the meaning of health and stress, the experience of bereavement, and the quality of life with a chronic illness. Phenomenology can be a vehicle to illuminate and clarify central and important issues. It is attractive to qualitative nurse researchers because caring is fundamental to the research approach.